Sustainability Committee poised to deliver on this mandate?
Thank you very much for that question. And once again, good morning to all Nigerians. As we are aware, the president did ask the vice president to lead a committee of a number of ministers and a few heads of MDAs, NNPC, CBN, to develop what we now know as the Nigerian Economic Sustainability Plan. We call it Bouncing Back. And very recently, the president and the Federal Executive Council has now approved this program, which I like to call a stimulus package for the Nigerian economy, about 2.3 trillion, as you have said. Now, the implementation of the program, is now taking off, with the approval. And we want Nigerians to understand very carefully that this is a program that we have sourced for the funding of it, and diligent effort will be made to ensure that these programs are properly implemented. So we're going to have implementation committees in different sectors led by the lead ministers in those sectors and ministries. So, for instance, one of the major programs is the mass agricultural works program, where both the the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and the CBN are going to be working to incentivize a huge return to the farmland. So we are planning, working with the state government, to ensure that in each of the 36 state governments and the FCT, we have additional 20,000 acres of land turned into farmlands. And this plan has detailed incentives to take the people to the farm and the agro-allied industry. So there are a lot of incentives, there are a lot of financial incentives, soft loans, arrangements that we make this happen. Now, one of the philosophies driving this is for us to be very productive, for our people to be extremely very productive, to be able to be self-sufficient in agriculture, and that is just one program. Now there are other programs. There is also the solar program, where we are going to try to take solar power to about 5 million Nigerian homes, probably touching about 25 million Nigerians who are not even on the who have little or no access to the national grid. There's going to be a massive solar power installation all across this country, and so not only will that deliver power to solar power to the people, it will also cause a lot of employment all across the country. And like I said, these are programs that are already
under falls under the stimulus plan.
Yes. Okay. All of these are part of what we call the National Economic Sustainability Plan that has been approved. And the whole idea itself is a stimulus package, and these are the details. The point I want to make today is for the Nigerian people to await further development of how they will be benefiting specifically in many of these programs. We're going to be sending out more information as the implementation develops. Like I said, there are ministerial implementation committees in each of the sectors. So when we talk, for instance, about the agricultural, the public works in agriculture, it's going to be managed by CBN and the Ministry of Agri. When we talk about solar power, it's going to be managed by a number of MDAs, coordinated by power. When we talk about housing, because we also have a housing program where we're trying to do 300,000 housing units annually. So for the 12 months duration of this program, we want to do 300,000 houses. So that is going to be coordinated by the Ministry of Works. So we have all these programs domiciled in particular ministries, departments, and agencies, where it will be implemented and monitored, and there's going to be a very active involvement of the Nigerian people. See, this is the point. We are going to be sharing out information as all these things are happening, so that two things will happen. Number one, the Nigerian people will know that this is happening, and number two, more importantly, they will know that this is how they can benefit. This is what they need to do to benefit, and then of course they keep an eye on the progress of the work.
Okay, let's talk about a particular sector that was badly affected by the pandemic, that has also affected the economy. That is the MSMEs. Now, some palliatives were rolled out to cushion the effect of the pandemic on the business community, like we said, the MSMEs. And there was also palliatives that was released for them. There's also the MSME clinic under the office of the Vice President and so on. What has been the feedback so far? Are you beginning to feel the vibe of these MSMEs surviving the pandemic?
Yes, I mean, thank you very much for that question. Now, as you will collect, we have had, over the last 4 to 5 years, a very diligent attention paid to the MSMEs sector. Why is that? Because we know that a huge portion of the Nigerian working population, people who are engaged in one thing or the other, they are engaged in small businesses and MSMEs. So one of the things that we have done over the years is what you refer to as the MSME clinics, where the Vice President will go to a state and take all the regulatory agencies, NAFDAC, SON, CAC, FRS, and BOI, and bring the people in the MSME sectors to come and have a face-to-face, on-the-spot interaction to address problems that they might be facing. It could be problem of licensing, it could be problem of registration, it could be problem of taxation, it could be problem of access to loans and funding. And we've done this, and we have seen a lot of very effective and positive feedback. Now, under this plan, under the National Economic Sustainability Plan, we have, and I want to pay a little bit more attention today on what we call the Survivor Fund for MSMEs. We have, we have quite actually a comprehensive package for MSMEs. For instance, under the Survivor Fund, we are trying to target about 500,000 MSMEs jobs, whether it's be in the hotels, in the tourism industry, in the public transportation. So that if you have a minimum, for instance, if you have a minimum of 10 employees, up to a maximum of 50 employees, if you don't fire them, if you keep the staff, we will make sure that your business survives. Now, so we are targeting about 50,000 MSMEs in that category, to make sure that if you are able to keep the jobs of the people that you've hired, if you have at least you have about 10 staff and you don't have more than 50, you qualify for this program. And there's going to be there is already 50 billion naira that we call payroll support under the Survivor Fund. There's a 50 billion naira payroll support that we will give to MSMEs, who don't fire their staff. In this situation, there's going to be there is already a 50 billion payroll support as part of the Survivor Fund. There is also, as part of the Survivor Fund, additional 200 billion naira worth of loans, very affordable loan, interest-free loans that we go to artisans. We go to artisans, so that people can also stay in business and even try to enlarge their businesses. We have specifically 10 billion naira that is targeted for for private transport companies to also keep them going, at this very important time. There is also an offtake facility up to about 15 billion, where we are trying to target another 100,000 MSMEs, so that whatever they are producing, government, and allied agencies can buy them, whether it be face masks, whether it be PPEs, whether it be sanitizers. Government will buy. We're encouraging them to produce, and then government will purchase from them, so that you're not losing your business. The whole idea is that we want to increase the level of productivity in this country like never before. We want to put the people to work, and government is going to use its resources and its capacities to ensure that the resources are available to the people to make these things happen. So I want Nigerians to be very vigilant. You see, you have to be very vigilant. We will be giving you information as these programs are developing from one sector to the other, and we want you to hold us accountable. We want you to hold the government accountable. We will give you information how you will benefit. We will let you know this is what you need to do to benefit. This is where you need to go, because we also need your eyes out there to make sure that these things are a success. It's very important to the president that the people that we intend to serve are properly served in this matter.
Okay, let's look at one of the the main agenda of the present administration, which is the fight against corruption. There's been a lot of trending news in that area. The latest being the murky waters being faced by the arrowhead of the management of the EFCC. And you issued a statement from your office referring to trending stories with regards to the situation. Now, can you tell us about it? Can you throw light?
Well, the statement is already out, and I'm not going to make any further comment about that. You see, what we try to do is, and this is very important for the Nigerian people to understand, because this is what is important to Nigerian people. The president and the vice president are being elected to do a job. That's the important thing. That is what we want to do. There will always be distractions. There will always be other issues, and we will address them, to keep the people informed, to show that we are transparent and that government is accountable. Okay, but let us keep our eye on the ball. Let's keep our eye on the ball. The job to which the presidency, president and vice president have been appointed to do is to serve the Nigerian people, and that is why I came here today to take my time to explain, especially some of the survivor fund that we have in the National Economic Sustainability Plan, and to alert Nigerians to say, look, we want you out there to go and ensure that these things are happening, and to give us feedback. We're going to be having portal that will allow us to have public interface with the people, so that whatever is supposed to be going on, they will be the one to be telling us this is happening, this is not happening, and then we can deal with the situation. So don't worry too much about some of the distractions that are out there. It's part of the it's part of the environment. But I want to assure Nigerians that the president and the vice president, they are focused on delivering to the Nigerian people. And if you look at their record in the last 5 years, you know that if they have one important passion, it is to make sure that the average Nigerian on the street, that their lives are touched positively. And this commitment is enduring.
Okay, let's still on the fight against corruption. How much has been achieved in this regard so far? I'm asking this besides the issue involving the EFCC acting chairman. Now, generally, the fight against corruption.
Well, the information is there. I believe the Justice Minister and the heads of the anti-corruption agencies, they have regularly been informing Nigerians about the details of this. The information is already out there, and I think that Nigerians are well informed about that.
Okay, let's talk about security now. There have been a lot of challenges in this area. what do we expect? What should Nigerians expect to see how to further tackle this area?
As you can see, the president is actively engaged on this issue. There's practically no week when you are not seeing the president, meeting with some of the service chiefs, some of the security chiefs, trying to get a feedback, giving fresh orders and directives on what ought to be done. Ensuring that the Nigerian security agencies, whether it be the military or the police, they are properly kitted in terms of equipment, in terms of resources, and getting the right directives. So I want to assure the Nigerian people that the president is squarely focused on the issue of security, and this is something that he will continue to do. We will deal with all the issues. We are dealing with them on a daily basis, and wherever there are challenges, we will confront them properly, adequately, and we will carry Nigerians along.
Okay, let me quickly take you back to the 2.3 trillion naira stimulus package. Will this money be released wholesome, or it will come in batches?
Well, so it's
and how much has come out so far?
Well, look, so just so we understand exactly how it is. That's why I said that there are several programs, that are going to be taking place in different ministries and in different sectors. Okay, so for instance, I talked about the solar. The solar power, system, where we are trying to, get solar power to 5 million households. It will be handled by the REA, that is Rural Electrification Agency, the NDPHC, and I believe, Ministry of Power, will come together to form an implementation, committee on that. And so resources for that will be released through how it is going to be implemented. So it's not as if, one money will just jump in one place. As each of the implementation committees in the ministries and the MDAs, as they get on with the job, the money will be released to the particular program that has been highlighted. So for instance, I was talking about the survivor fund. So part of that is going to be run. For instance, when I talk about the offtake of about 15 billion, that we go to about 100,000 MSMEs, so that whatever they produce is taken off. So some of those programs will be coordinated in the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. Now, some of those programs will also come through the Bank of Industry. So it's not a question of you take out the whole money and put it in one place. But of course, the money has been made available. We have a 500 billion stimulus package that was announced even before this stimulus came out. That's part of the 2.3 million. That has been already budgeted for. We also have about over a trillion that will be coming in terms of structured loans from the CBN. And then there are also a couple other billions that are coming from other sources. Okay. So we have the money, but we will be releasing the money, through, some of them will come through the finance ministry, some of them will come through the CBN, through structured loans, to get all of this thing done. Why I have come today is to put Nigerians on the alert. Be out there. We will give you information as these things is going on, and we want your feedback and your participation.
All right. We want your feedback and your participation. The program is Have Your Say, coming to you live on the network service of Radio Nigeria. And today our guest is the Senior Special Assistant, SSA, to the President on Media and Publicity, Office of the Vice President, Mr. Laolu Akande. And he's speaking on government strides while combating the community spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. The lines will be open after this short break. Remember, the lines to call are 0807 622 6771 and 0705 149 3324. The lines once again are 0807 622 6771 and 0705 149 3324. Don't forget, you can also get through to us with SMS and WhatsApp on 0705 864 2473. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
The National Center for Disease Control has informed me that a large proportion of new infections are now occurring in our communities through person-to-person contacts. So we must pay attention to the danger of close contact between person to person. At this point, I will remind all Nigerians to continue to take responsibility for the recommended measures to prevent transmission, including maintaining physical distancing, good personal hygiene, and staying at home.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Thanks for staying with us. As you heard, it's Radio Nigeria, the network service, and today the program is Have Your Say. Our guest is the Senior Special Assistant SSA to the President on Media and Publicity Office of the Vice President, Mr. Laolu Akande, and he's speaking on the government strides in the three areas of anti-corruption, economy, and security, especially now that we're combating the community spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's now time to hear from Nigerians. Be part of the conversation. Like we said, the lines to call are 0807 622 6771 and 0705 149 3324. We have a first caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Tell us who you are. Yes, go ahead. Tell us who you are, where you're calling from.
This is Bishop Esau from Sabugudara in Edo State.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead.
I agree the Senior Special Advisor to the President.
Yes, he can hear you.
Thank you.
This is a very laudable program from the Presidency, especially that which has to do with solar energy. The truth about the matter is that one of the major problems we have in Nigeria today is power. And once you can take control of this power, I think Nigeria will get out of this economic woes. So with this solar energy, I think we will have a better Nigeria. Most of the small-scale industries, like these barbers, tailors, welders, and others, the problem we have been having, even right here in Sabugudara, here where I reside, is power. Once the power is there, I'm able to see that we will not have much problem at all. The only thing I will advise is that this program, that they should give it to attend it to people who have integrity, people who are not corrupt, and it should be well monitored from time to time. Thank you. God bless all of you.
Thank you very much, Bishop Isong. Next
Hello.
caller. Yes, good morning.
Yeah, Daniel, good morning.
Yes,
this
good morning.
Is the radio senator, Mr. Andrew Ajayi.
Yes, good morning, sir. Go ahead.
Good morning to you and your guest, Mr. Laolu.
Yes.
Greetings to you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I want to just speak as a true Nigerian from the issues you have spoken. I want to ask you a question. Check the history of the EFCC head appointment. That's the chairman of EFCC. You will see that it is not a Muslims. Now, we are a nation of 250 ethnic groups and over 374 languages of people, where we are supposed to emphasize national unity and seizing every opportunity we have to give confidence to Nigerians to say that we are one nation. Now, Magu, who spoke against corruption and coronavirus the other time, go and play back Magu's comment on coronavirus. He says whether it's worse than corruption or corruption is worse than coronavirus. Now, today, look at the mess he finds himself. In terms of the political appointments, why won't Mr. President give opportunity to another strong person that has good character? Because I have been talking about character reformation and morality in Nigeria for so long, based on godly principles of good Christianity and Islam. Because the people who have been there on the EFCC seat helping to fight corruption, they are not sincere people, and God will continue to help us to fight them. That is one issue. Then the second important issue I want to say is that you talk about the issue of security, Mr. SSA to Mr. President, Vice President's office. I don't want to agree that much is being done about security, because the very first tenure of Mr. President, look at the way headsmen, Boko Haram, they became very strong, such that Nigerians are so afraid. What is actually the underlying factor that Boko Haram will be lurking around the Chadian hemisphere of our country, and yet up till now we've not been able, through the big army, navy, air force that we have, to be able to conquer these people and clean them off the surface of Nigeria, so that Nigerians can be, happy again, to say that yes, their government protected them. Because the real reason for which we have government is nothing more than the welfare and security of our citizens. And finally,
all right, Mr. Jai,
we talk about medium-scale industries, just like I tried to talk to you the other time. What is the current interest rate that CBN and banks in Nigeria use in loaning people money? Any nation whose economy wants to become manufacturing and industrializing will not be charging 12.5% for her citizens to be able to get money as loans from banks. Take analysis of other countries, and you will see that the monetary arrangement in Nigeria in terms of financial fiscal policy is too difficult for the Nigerian to be able to borrow, so that we will no longer be going to China again.
All right, thank you, Andrew Jai.
To buy goods and services from China.
Thank you,
it is not good enough, but I believe we can still do more.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, let's take a few more calls, then we'll come back to our guest. Yes, good morning. Tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
This is Vunna Dikland, calling from any charity in the Bon State. First of all, I have to commend Mr. President for his effort to ensure that Nigerians survive, especially this period of coronavirus pandemic. But my question is that, what plan do they have to ensure that we, the politicians, we don't hijack all the good things they are doing in different states? Because most of the time, some of their good ideas will be hijacked, and at the end, it will be a story. Secondly, many Nigerians applied for agric loan, but as of this time, we have never seen anything like that. So because with that, they say time is money. If you give agric loan to the farmers at the early stage, then we get what they want, and by then our economy will grow. Not only oil that we are going to depend. That is why we are calling for diversification of our economy. So let them do something about that. Right. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Yes, one more call. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name and location, and go ahead.
Okay, my name is Kechimatu, the CEO of Budu Farms Limited. I'm calling from Calabar, Cross River State.
I didn't get your name. Kechimatu.
To CEO of Budu Farms Limited from Cross River State, Calabar.
I think your name and location is just good enough. Okay, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, go ahead. We can hear you.
Yes, I want to first of all commend the federal government in the way they are driving the economy. But having said that the policies, we have good policies in this country, but sometimes the implementation becomes the problem. It is in this era that I see a smallholder business getting 10 million naira from NISA Microfinance Bank, which is not commendable, but I still see some irregularities in that, because there are some linkages where others cannot access this loan, and the processes are very slow as I speak. Then I want to
hello. All right, it's like we lost connectivity with that caller. But hello, okay.
Good morning to you.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, please. We can hear you.
Mr. Ola Kelani calling from Kuto Abeokuta.
Good morning, sir.
You see, how would you connect the cottage industry to agricultural program? Because these are the people that really one of the classes of people that really need this thing. Because cottage industry plays a very important, vital role in really developing agriculture, converting secondary products to a different useful form. Are you with me?
Yes, please. We can hear you.
In housing program, when we talk of housing program, it is always said that people that need these houses don't get them. How are we sure that this wouldn't happen? And to make sure that politics does not come into place when people are to benefit from these programs. And when we talk of security, government really is poised, really, to fish out those that are sponsors of insurgency. How has government gone about doing this to ensure that this type of people are fished out, the sponsors of insurgency? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Laolu Akande, quite a number of issues raised here. Your response, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thanks to the Nigerians that are calling in and those that are also listening. Quite a few issues. Let's start with Bishop Esau from Edo State. I think specifically from Sabongida, Ora. Thank you for commending the solar program. Where we said that we are going to we're going to try to install, going to be solar power installed in about 5 million homes, and we know that this is going to be not only good in terms of heat, providing power for those who are otherwise not connected to the grid, but of course it's also going to cause, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of jobs, across the country. And of course, we take a note of your point that we should ensure that people of integrity are the ones that are running it. This is a government of integrity. We have a president and a vice president who are men of integrity. So I can, by the grace of God, guarantee that we will ensure that these programs altogether are implemented diligently and with a lot of integrity, and they will be well monitored. We also had a caller from the radio senator, Ajayi, who talked about the anti-corruption agencies, and I said that his points have been well made, and that's the whole point. We have noted his feedback. Now, generally about security, the truth of the matter that we cannot gainsay or deny is that the Buhari administration has certainly, done quite a bit of work in the area of security. Look at the issue of insurgency, for instance. When we came in, all of Nigerians, we knew that I think about 15 to 17 local governments were under the direct control with the flags of the terrorists hoisted. Now, that is not taking place in any of those places today. There is no place where terrorists are the one controlling the situation. Now, we know that Sambisa forest has been leveled, which is, what you can call their ground zero. But of course, there are still sporadic and opportunistic attack. There are also issues, around the borders. But these things are being dealt with. I don't think there is there's hardly a week where we don't receive information of the progress that the military is making, especially on this issue of insurgency. There's hardly a week where we don't hear the people that they have liberated, and terrorists that they have neutralized. So don't let us think or try to give a narrative as though the security people are just sitting down on their horse. No. Now there's a lot more to be done, and that is why the president, there's virtually a week that goes by where the president is not getting feedback and is calling the security chiefs to account, for the situation. And I can guarantee you that will continue to be a high priority on its agenda until we are able to, significantly overcome this problem. Nigeria and Nigerians will be the one to determine the end of those insurgency and those terrorism by the special grace of God. Now, there are issues raised about the interest rates. Now, one of the beautiful things about the National Economic Sustainability Plan is that all these issues have been figured into the planning. So some of the facilities, that the structured loans that are going to be coming through the CBN, all the issues have been taken into consideration. And there are even instances where grants are going out. Now, I recall that one of the callers, actually I think that is the Calabar, the CEO from Calabar, yes, did testify that a number of people have already been benefiting from the NASA loans, and more of this kind of stories are going to be coming forward as we go ahead in implementing this plan. Now, I think we had a caller who commended the president on how he's managing the pandemic, and is suggesting, I think it's from Henugu, that we shouldn't allow politicians to hijack all the programs, and that we should figure out a way to get loans for our Greek farmers. Again, these are all embedded in the sustainability plan that we have started to implement. The Minister for Agric is a very diligent and detailed, patriotic Nigerian who is very concerned. He himself is a farmer, you see. So he understands what the issues are and is very hands-on. And working with the Central Bank governor, these issues are being sorted out. Now they are working, the CBN and the Minister for Agric, they have worked out a plan of how it is that we are going to increase agricultural productivity and also deal with the ensure that we tap the value chain, the agro-halide value chain. I think lastly we have, because I already dealt with Calabar CEO, we have Mr. Ola Kelani from Abeokuta, who talked about the cottage industry, how we can convert secondary industries, and also about the housing program, and also talked about security. So, yes, the whole idea of trying to fire up the MSMEs is to be able to get people to do these things. And one of the most dramatic things that are going to happen is in the area of the MSMEs, the kind of resources that we are going to be unleashing on that sector. Specifically on that sector, and the other available resources coming out from other sectors outside of it, including like in agriculture, is going to impact heavily on MSMEs. And I have no doubt in my mind that this will also this will also influence the cottage industry the way that he has articulated. On the housing program, he said that we should be careful that people that need them are the ones that will get them. That's the whole point. And that's why we will be giving out information. So our own responsibility is to ensure that when these things are happening, information will go out as to the yardstick of the people to whom the program is designed for. We're going to be talking specifically about the housing program. There's going to be a lot of cooperative activities. So we're trying to build 300,000 housing units across the country in a year. So we're going to be working with our cooperatives. So people will form into cooperatives. These are people-based cooperatives, and that is how we are going to make the houses available. Of course, there will be some that will also be rent to hold, and there will be cases also of mortgages. So these things have been so properly thought out, and we will take the implementation very seriously, because we know that implementation is always the pain. And that is why, in fact, it is more work for us now than even the planning. The planning stage was quite a bit of work, But we have no doubt in our minds that it is in the implementation that the rubber meets the road, and we will deliver, which is why we need the support of Nigerians to be out there, to be vigilant, and to be alert, and to give us feedback.
Okay.
We will give you information as this thing is going on, and we will depend on your feedback.
Okay, let's take more feedback now. Our social media platforms are already busy with so many messages. We have first here from King Agomtor. He says, good morning, presenter and guest. I'm watching live in Owerri. Okay. Temitope Victory says, good morning, sir. Nice having you around. It's a pleasure. My question is, how will the economic sustainability plan shared by the Vice President going to cover everyone? I mean, how will the rural area get to benefit from the plan? I think these questions have been answered already. Innocent Uswa Jr. says, good morning, everyone. I must commend the federal government in their move towards reviving our economy from the shock caused by the COVID-19. I wish people who are vested in implementation should do it judiciously. Yes, we hope so too. Temitope Victory is watching live from Ondo. King Agom Tor, okay, we've spoken about taking his messages already. Inkem Dele Ofo is watching live from Abuja. Thank you. Okay, he says, very true. A lot is being put to see that average Nigerians are comfortable. Thank you. Mustafa from Abuja, good morning. In the fight against COVID-19, FG laid down some protocols. Most states are not adhering to interstate lockdown. What is your sector doing to ensure adequate enforcement of the laid down protocols? Okay, that's all we can take for messages. Let's come back to you now, Mr. Laolu Akande, so that you can respond to some of these issues and give us your final words, because we're running out of time. I've made to understand you're leaving in a few minutes.
Thank you so much. I was reading through some of the feedback from the social media myself, and I'm quite delighted that our people are very connected to what it is that we are trying to do. Yes, we will make sure, by the grace of God, that these programs are delivered. We will make sure that the implementation part of it is where things will actually happen. We will make sure that we communicate with you, and we will hope and expect that you also will be alert and vigilant and give us useful feedback. This is a program that is going to change the face of the Nigerian economy. This is a program that will stimulate the Nigerian economy like never before. This is a program that will lead to the kind of economic productivity that we all know that this country has the potential for. So working together, all stakeholders with government and all our people, we can make it happen. Somebody talked about rural areas. In fact, the bigger chunk of those programs are for the rural area. For instance, the 5 million solar power that we're talking about, a big majority of that is going to happen in the rural area, because we are focusing on the places that don't even have access to the national grid. So we are concerned that every sector of every section of the Nigerian populace are going to benefit, and this is going to redound to the prosperity of the Nigerian nation and the prosperity of the Nigerian people. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. Yes, those were the words of the Senior Special Assistant SSA to the President on Media and Publicity, Office of the Vice President, Mr. Laolu Akande. We wish to thank you so much. We're made to understand that you have to leave immediately. Thank you so much for making time to come to the program.
Thank you very much. I'll come back again.
Okay, that would be great. Wonderful to hear. Jolly good. Yes, at this time, we wish to thank the production crew in the person of the news producers, Conrad Labe and Hassan Hussein, online editors, Timothy Bamidele, ICT was Israel Tiokaha, studio manager, Prince Afonia Ugweze, engineer, Hassan Usman, photographer, Sadiq Saromi, cameras, Chinedu Megwa, and Fuluwa Oloyede. Facilitator was Oluwa Damilola Oni. The producer was Oledo Mbiwe. The executive producer, Sani Suleiman. Special thanks to the Director General of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, Dr. Mansur Liman. Join us next time for another. I am Olayemi Daniel saying, stay safe. COVID-19 is real and a respecter